Greetings and welcome to House of Art, a Ringerverse podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. I'm Mallory Rubin. Joining me today, after what we've been through, this thing, it ties us together forever. And that could either be about this podcast or about the trailer for Stranger Things Season 5, who can say? It's Joanna Robinson.
Mallory Rubin, I love hype season.
Same.
I love irresponsibly getting excited about things and then also hemming and hawing about how maybe they might not be good, but it doesn't matter because we're here for the vibes and for the joy and for the anticipation.
We live in the now.
Yeah.
We cherish the hype
later,
while we have it.
We'll have some questions about the later, but for the now, here we are.
Exactly. So this is one of our favorite seasonal traditions. It is the House of R hype meter. We'll explain the exact season that we're covering shortly when we get to our rules refresher. But before we do, a few programming reminders over on the Ringerverse. The Midnight Boys. Pew pew. They're talking Demon Slayer this week, so that is a highly anticipated pod, both among the Midnight Riders and the Midnight Boys themselves. Don't miss that episode. That is going to be a fun time. Here on the House of R, we have a fuckload coming up over the next few weeks. We have so many pods coming that we are excited about. We previewed this last week. We're going to give you another just like, here's what's coming in the next few weeks, kind of a snapshot quickly. Feels appropriate on a hype meter. We have our Stranger Things Season 3 Revisited pod coming very soon. And then not too long after that, we will be revisiting Season 4 as well, because as might come up today on the Fall Hype Meter, Season 5 awaits. You think that'll come up today? Could it come up?
Perhaps.
As Joe mentioned last week, we are going to be talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms in a couple weeks because there is a Night of the Seven Kingdoms panel at New York Comic-Con. And even though neither of us will have the pleasure of being there, we are anticipating some news about that impending release. And so we are planning to chat about it after. Mm-hmm. I will be out of town when that is happening, so that'll be a couple days late. We appreciate your patience now and always. We will also be resuming soon our Best of the Century So Far series. We're excited to do a couple more of those pods. Buffy Season 2 awaits. I think we might get to do those pods in person. We'll see if the schedule
That's the plan.
works out. We're so excited for that.
Can we possibly bear it? Will we endure it? Will we live through it?
God.
Who's to say? Mallory, you're almost done with your Season 2 watch.
I know. I am so close to the end.
I'm getting your updates. Yeah. You're like very, very close.
I know.
All right.
I'm right at the edge of finishing it. And then, of course, I'm going to watch it all again. I already can't wait. Chris Nolan-Fall.
You have, just really quickly, you have experienced the origin of my fascination with the accent work, which did come from the Season 2 finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So
astonishing stuff. You had given me an indication that something really notable awaited, and yet nothing could have prepared me. So much more is coming on House of R this fall, including, of course, many podcasts on some of the things that are going to make our respective hype meters today, which we will talk about more as we go. Spoiler warning for the hype meter. It's the same as always. We obviously don't know what's actually going to happen in any of these stories, so there are no like future spoilers, but we're going to talk about trailers. We might talk about some casting news, some marketing material, some things that have happened previously in the universes in which an impending release awaits, but no future spoilers because we don't have any. Those are the programming reminders. Like, follow, subscribe.
Okay.
The inbox, Joe, is it open?
It is open. hobbitsanddragons@gmail.com. Why not send us an email about your Dunkin' Egg thoughts, any mailbag questions that you might have for us, anything we might have missed on the hype meter that you're like, why aren't you excited about this? We love your emails. Please keep them coming. Your Buffy emails have been absolutely exquisite. Can't wait to get into some of them for Season 2.
Oh my God. Delightful. Okay. It's time for the 2025 Fall Hype Meter. Let's do a quick refresher on the rules. Anybody who has ever listened to a hype meter before will be familiar with this exercise, but we'll breeze through a refresh. The process, as always, we're counting down from 10 to 1, and our lists are a surprise. So I don't know what Joe's top 10 is. She doesn't know what my top 10 is, though she probably does. If we have a shared entry, we will discuss it at the higher of the two spots. For example, if I have Tron Ares at number 10 and Joanna has it at number 1, we will wait until we get to number 1 to discuss it.
Jared, my guy.
Could happen. You don't know. It could happen.
Sure.
What is eligible for the hype meter? These are genre picks. So if we could potentially cover a given property here on the House of R or on the Ringerverse, it can be selected today. That doesn't necessarily mean we will cover it here on the House of R. We have selected things in the past that have been covered on the Prestige TV podcast or elsewhere on the network, but it means in theory that they have a home in our universe and certainly in our hearts. Time frame eligibility. This is always where we get gnarly. Today might be
the cleanest. We have a clear marker. Yeah.
Today is one of the cleanest we've ever done. We're only off like the actual calendar definition of a season by like a week and a half on each end, which frankly for us is astonishing.
Wow.
I know.
Stunning.
I know. Stunning. Fall means the rest of the year. So winter technically begins on December 21st, 2025, but we can select anything, and fall began like a little bit more than a week ago. So we're off a week and a half. Anything from today, September 30th through December 31st, we can select. And as always, that means the release has to premiere, has to begin in that period. So something that already began but concludes in that period is not eligible for today's exercise. Wildcard. Will this come up? It doesn't always. Sometimes it does. We each are allowed to use one of the 10 spots on a release that does not have a confirmed date inside of this eligibility window, but could be reasonably expected to come out in this period.
The Sandman contingency,
the coming soon contingency. If there is a release date that is set and then it shifts, that's not on us. Happens all the fucking time. We can't be held accountable for that.
We're not responsible.
We do not have to use a wild card, but we can. And then if we have some extra contenders that didn't crack the top 10, but are things that we're excited for, or we want to quickly shout out to make sure you're aware that they are on the horizon, we'll do some rapid fire lightning round stuff at the end in an honorable mentions category. Anything else, Joanna, on the rules, eligibility criteria front before we get to our top 10s?
No, I'm excited and curious to see how much overlap we have, because we'll have some, but not entirely. And I'm excited to see what you've filled out your list with.
This is the hype meter is always interesting because sometimes we enter a hype meter and there is just such a clear, oh, this is no question number one, or this is like no question the top 5. And those aren't always the hype meters that have like the deepest pool, but when the top is clear, there's a certain like crystallization of the list. I often perhaps counterintuitively find the seasons where there's like a ton of stuff coming, but it's all kind of like neck and neck, much harder to power rank, which was a little bit more this exercise for me. So yeah, I think there's a chance that we have maybe less overlap than we typically do as a result, but who knows? I mean, I'm assuming you have Tron at 1 and Predator at 2, which would mean we had the same top 2. Spoiler.
Listen, I'm nothing if not a franchise queen. No, like I think that we're in an interesting time right now because when we started this feed, obviously we were in like the thick of like there's a Star Wars show every couple months, there's a Marvel show every couple months, and the landscape has certainly changed, and our definition of what we cover has certainly expanded. And so I think I'm really excited. You know, when you suggested the cutoff of December 31st, I was like, I'm not going to have enough, man. And then I started looking. This happens every time. I started looking and I was like, oh, there's all this like stuff that does sort of push a little bit at the boundary of what House of R is, but I am very excited about. And so there's a lot of juicy stuff coming in the next couple months. So
it's a fun fall.
Let's get hyped.
It's a fun fall. It's also like a very movie heavy fall. There are so many movies coming out. Oh yeah. So that's
the TV
fun.
Front is
absolutely. And we discussed like, should we make this a fall winter hype meter, which we've done before. 2026. I keep forgetting what year it is. Next year's 2026. Right? 2026. It's just like shaping up to be an all-timer in terms of the number of big releases. So we just have to keep all that separate. 2026 is its own thing. What a hype draft that'll be next January. My goodness.
You know, Rob and I are certainly discovering this a lot on the Prestige feed is like increasingly year over year, the front, third or half of the year gets so clogged with the Emmy eligibility stuff and stuff like that. And then when you get to fall, they're kind of like it used to be in the olden days. It used to be September, October. This is when the new shows come back. Yeah. And it's just like busy TV season. And that is just not, it's completely flipped. January, February, March, April, May. Like that's the breeding ground for all the shows that they have put most of their weight behind. There are still some bangers coming though for the rest of this year, very intriguingly. So we'll talk about those.
I'm excited about my top 10. I have a handful of things in honorable mentions too that I was like, this sucks to keep out of the top 10. So I actually have a pretty crowded field today. I'm excited for this. I think our lists are going to be really different. I know for sure my number 10 is not on your list. I am certain. Okay. So immediately we'll have at least one difference. Joanna.
Is there like an Eagly holiday special that I am unaware of?
If only. Can you imagine?
You'd be so excited.
I would have insisted on a very special episode about that news. All right, let's get to our top 10 countdown for the fall 2025 House of R Hype Meter. Joanna Robinson, what do you have at number 10?
Coming in at number 10, you might have this higher, fresh off of our Alien Earth coverage. I'm going to take one little tiny step over into Predator Badlands territory. Nice. Is this something you have elsewhere on the list?
I have this as one of my honorable mentions. This was this was genuinely, I had a hard time keeping this off the list because I am really excited about this movie. It looks great. And I was bummed to not have this make my top 10. So I'm really excited it's on yours. Tell me why.
So I'm not a huge Predator fan at all. I've seen most of them, but I'm not like the hugest fan. But I thought Prey was extraordinary. I loved Prey. And I have not seen the animated film that came out. But Dan Trachtenberg is doing something really interesting with his franchise. And I think from what we've seen of Predator Badlands, which is a lot of like Elle Fanning playing multiple characters, and you and I are huge Elle Fanning fans. We love the great. We love a multi role performance from an actor. We love to see her. In my friend is calling her like the Elle Fanning backpack mode that we see her in the trailer for this because one of her roles is legless. I'm really intrigued by this. Yeah. I'm really, really intrigued by this movie. I think it's going to be really, really good. And again, Predator is not a huge property for me and a huge world that I love. But if Prey is any indication, I'm really excited. Our beloved producer Arjuna went to the Comic-Con panel, San Diego Comic-Con panel, and he was like really hyped by it. Yes. And everyone who went to that panel was really hyped by it. So if it were a property I was more into, it would be higher. But it is a filmmaker, Dan Trachtenberg, who I really like his work. And I have no reason not to think this is going to be really fun. So I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad this is November on your 7th. List. I was similarly like quite compelled by Arjuna's hype coming out of the Comic-Con panel. He was like, this looks good. And my husband is a huge Predator fan, and I feel like this film can maybe be a moment for me to opt in to rediscovering and reconnecting to Predator as like a verse. So did you see Prey?
I haven't seen Prey.
Adam loved it. He loved the animated.
You would love Prey.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like look forward to this release and try to catch up ahead of it. And then the fact that who knows, studios move things around all the time, but like this is November 7th. The Running Man. Put a pin in that. I'm sure we'll be discussing that shortly. Was originally on that date and shifted a week. Who knows if that means that the studios are anticipating that Predator Badlands is like a thing, but Running Man moved. So interesting. Okay, so that's also your number 10.
Shout out Dan Trachtenberg, who used to be a podcaster. We love to support the upward mobility of a podcaster. So I'm always looking to support Dan,
How long until you're making a movie with Elle Fanning? That's the question.
It's going to be a vampire movie. I'll tell you that much right now. Tell you that much right now.
You didn't need to tell us. It was a given.
Okay, great. You're number 10.
My number 10 is definitely not on your list. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything in my entire life. It is Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Here's the thing. I told myself it was irresponsible to leave it off my list, and then I told myself Mallory will have it, so it's okay. Would you like for the video to do an impression of what you did for me when you told me how you were going to encourage me to go see Avatar: Fire and Ash in the theater?
in general, I was really reflecting on this. Whatever I've done in the last few weeks, it's not sufficient. I need a new bit because I was thinking back to Way of Water, which, of course, the wait between Avatar 2009 and Way of Water 2022 was an eternity. So now the fact that we have another movie coming out in this franchise just a couple years later, astonishing. But I was reflecting on the fact that because of the Way of Water and Aquaman, we spent months. We spent months on this podcast talking about how we were going to cover those two movies from a boat. Then we not only did we not cover them from a boat, we didn't cover them at all. I covered the Way of Water with Charles and had a great time. But I need to, I can't, what am I going to say? That we're going to cover this from a volcano? That's not going to work. So how can I compel you? I need to think of something here. I'm not going to get it done by talking about Spider. I don't think that's going to work, but I'm going to think of something. No?
You mentioned that you were going to say you were going to try to get me there by arrow point, at arrow point. Do you remember saying that to me?
And then I did. I tried to do.
Yeah,
I
did
tried to do this.
A little bow and arrow, threatening bow and arrow gesture.
It didn't work.
At me.
Yeah, I tried to. I think Arrow of Apollo from Battlestar, very top of mind at that moment. I was emboldened to try. It didn't work. I'm gonna think of a new bit. Listen, this movie comes out December 19th. James Cameron's Pandora Chronicles continue. Will this man ever make another movie that is set anywhere other than Pandora? Who can say? We got a couple more left after this.
Are they called the Pandora Chronicles?
Just in my mind. Should they be called the Pandora Chronicles is the question. I think.
I was like, did I miss the entire name of the franchise?
Maybe some alliteration. The Pandora Pantheon. Think about it. Workshop it. This is something else we can do over the next few months.
Parables. Yeah. Okay.
I love it. Does this mean you're opting in? Now you're some wordplay. Yep, I think we've got you. Okay, so listen, a couple trailers for this movie have come out already. They look great.
Sure.
Does it look? If you watch the trailers and you're just like, I'm gonna let the splendor of these visuals wash over me, you're gonna be like, those are sick trailers. If you start to pay attention to the plot, you're gonna have, I think, a moment where you're like, we're running it back for a third time. This seems remarkably similar. There's a moment in the most recent trailer. What if every human being on Earth could live here without a mask? Then the Na'vi people will be gone. Okay, so the people of Earth attempting to use Pandora's resources and splendor for their purposes. We've been there before. However, this new group of characters, right, have entered the chat. We have a non-human foe. So this is interesting. This is intriguing. Is there more Spider in the trailers than I could have ever possibly anticipated? Admittedly,
Spider is...
He is the
Na'vi
he is the
teen.
He is the human boy, the young human boy. I'll say no more to leave it unspoiled.
Adopted by the Na'vi.
Yes.
Raised like a Mowgli sort of character.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I'll leave all other discoveries about who he is for you to explore on your own. Listen, this is the only film franchise in the entire world that will compel me to even contemplate putting publicly shared 3D glasses on my face and then watching a movie in 3D. It's just this. This is the only one I'll do it for, but I'll be there on day one and I'll do it. Yes, I will. And I just want to say this. Shout out to my favorite space whale, Payakan, who is back. He's back for the third film. The middle hour, as I've told you more than once before and will tell you again, the middle hour of Avatar: The Way of Water is almost entirely this whale swimming around. And it is breathtaking.
I just want you to reflect on the phrase "the middle hour."
The middle hour.
Just
the middle hour. It's just Payakan swimming around and forming an incredible bond, and it was amazing. So I'm excited to see him return. He's one of my faves. I considered putting this movie higher on the list, but I had other things at the end of the day that I was feeling more hyped for. But I am looking forward to this film.
Something that didn't look like a very expensive screensaver. Something that didn't tie up one of our best filmmakers into a nonsense world for decades at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We don't usually yuck each other's yum on this hype meter, but my Avatar hatred just needs to stay.
I support you. I support you.
Burning bright fire and ash inside of me. Okay, my number 9.
Tell me.
Do you have it higher? It's Frankenstein. I have this
quite a bit higher, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Quite a bit higher. Yeah. This was a tough one for me to slot, though. I moved it around the list a few times, but it ended up higher on my list. Yeah. I think there's a chance you have my number 9 higher on your list, though. I've got a book here. I'm assuming this is on your list, though. This is The Everlasting.
Yes, higher.
Okay, then we're putting a pin in our number 9, so we will come back to them. What is your number 8?
A lot of like franchise stuff here at the bottom for me. We've got The Running Man, which we already mentioned. Number 14. Do you have that higher?
I have this at number 7, so similarly slotted. Let's just talk about it.
Okay. The Running Man.
Yeah.
This is a remake of a classic sci-fi film, of course, from the great Edgar Wright, coming out November 14th, starring our guy, Glenn Powell.
Yes.
Josh Brolin is here, Coleman Domingo, Lee Pace, a shared favorite, Amelia Jones, who's just killing it on task right now. Like an incredible cast, Michael Cera's here, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody has seen this movie. Mm-hmm. So when individual hype is important, but also when I put these lists together, I do, if a movie has already premiered at a festival or something like that, I'm going to like poll people I know who've seen it. Nobody has seen this movie. So it's a big sort of blank space. And ordinarily in previous years, I would say I would put an Edgar Wright much higher. Mm-hmm. But it is weird to me that no one's seen this movie. And also Edgar Wright has been like a little hit or miss, in his later years. So this is lower down for me. But I'm still really excited. I think it will be, no matter what, fun, visually engaging as Edgar Wright stuff always is.
Yeah.
And our guy, Glenn, is always a treat to spend time with. So that's why I have The Running Man.
Yeah, so similarly slotted. I've got it at 7. I'm excited for the film. I think the trailer looked really good, really exciting. As you noted, the cast is just like so many of our favorites. This is a really dynamite collection of talent. And I, too, really enjoy your caveat appropriately issued, I think, about the recent filmography, but still the highs of the Edgar Wright filmography just include some of our favorites. So it's all, I think we always greet one of his new films with anticipation.
Yes.
I'm really curious to see, obviously it's an adaptation of an 82 book, a remake of an 87 film. I'm really curious to see how, on the one hand, it feels as 2025 as anything, given that it is a dystopian tale. On the other hand, I think this is, the story beats are, I think, just much more like familiar in the Black Mirror and beyond era of dystopian storytelling, right? So I'm curious to see how
post-Hunger Games,
yeah, exactly. Like 15 Million Merits, Hunger Games, all of it. Like hunters trying to find and kill game show contestants called runners who are trying to survive for 30 days in order to win a Billy because they're fighting for something in their lives that society will not allow them to nurture and support otherwise, is not like necessarily a new story beat. We've seen a lot of stories like that, but that's where you get back to like the cast and the filmmaker, and like the fact that Edgar Wright was like, I want to remake Running Man, just makes me excited. Like, what did he want to do with that IP, and how did he want to put his particular like sensibility and flair on that story? So it's like a classic dystopian stew in terms of the beats of the plot, but I think there's a good chance, I'm hopeful there's a good chance that it feels very like unique still because of the talent involved. So I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah. My number 8. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Visions, Volume 3.
Excellent. Tell me.
I just want to like, we do recommendations on House of R all the time. We do Ringerverse recommends. I really want to like implore fans of Star Wars and fans of just like beautiful storytelling who have not given Star Wars Visions a chance because maybe they're like, I don't do animation, or okay, this is not connected to the canon, so is it essential? A nudge to give this a try. Visions has been beautiful. Like, this is just a great franchise, and so the new season or volume comes out end of October 29th, Disney Plus. 9 shorts. Once again, 9 different anime studios coming in with their unique style. It is just so fresh and vibrant, both in terms of the visual palette, and also in terms of the story beats, because again, and we've talked about this in other contexts recently, this has come up a couple times on our Alien pods, it is untethered from canon. Like, each of these shorts comes in with a new idea and is not beholden to the rules of the universe, but not in a way that makes you anxious. You're like, whoa, right? It's just like a new discovery, a new possibility at the beginning of every short.
Fresh. Yeah.
New spin. Like all of these anime studios coming in, these creators, these artists coming in and saying, what would I do if I got to play in the Star Wars sandbox for a few minutes, is just such a, I think, cool canvas for people to get to explore their passions and their connection to the galaxy in. And it is just beautiful. Like, it is so beautiful. You can watch the subbed or the dubbed. There are 2 voice casts, so you can find your way in there in whatever way is like most appealing to you. This volume, though, volume 3, has some sequels. The gasp that I emitted. We're going back. So, like, one of my favorite shorts in volume 1 was the duel, and we're getting the duel payback in this season. So a return of Ronin. You've probably, like, if you're like, what are, I haven't seen, if you saw like these beautiful black and white, I mean, it was gorgeous. It was making its way around the internet. So we're going back. That's really exciting. The Village Bride, The Ninth Jedi. We're returning to a couple of the real highlights from volume 1, and also then getting new shorts as well. So I'm just really excited for Visions to be back. And it's always like a really arresting way, and a really, I think, stimulating way to spend a few hours if you're a Star Wars fan. So give it a go. Give it a go.
Excellent. What a pitch that was. I love it.
What is your number 7?
My number 7?
Yeah.
Wicked for Good. Do we have it higher?
We're now we have a pattern emerging. I have it higher, but only by 1 spot. It's my number 6. so similar placement yet again. And I've already done my number 7, which was Running Man. So let's do Wicked for Good. Okay, Wicked for Good. This comes out November 21st. Of course, the second part of the Wicked saga. This was sort of a surprise for us last year, because though, of course, Wicked was on my radar. I think something that I did not anticipate about Wicked Part 1 was how, and I considered that a lot when I put together this hype meter, actually, was how important it was to feel like we were sharing this with everyone. You know what I mean? So we didn't initially plan to talk about it. Yes, there are witches, but it didn't really feel like, even though that is very House of R, it didn't feel super House of R. But then, I was so skeptical of part 1, but then when I went to the theater and saw it with like crowds of people, including like kids and stuff like that, I just got like quite emotional and swept away by that experience. And then everyone going to see it and everyone having thoughts and feelings about it was really important. I'm really fascinated to see how Wicked for Good, the second part, does. As I've mentioned before, the second part of Wicked, both the book and the loosely adapted stage show, which the stage show is more the inspiration for the movie than the book is quite dark in its back half. And I love a dark and twisty tale, but I'm so curious how, like, take the fam for the holidays, how this will land, or if they will be making tweaks in order to make it feel a bit more palatable, if that's something I want, or if I would prefer to them to go like really gnarly and people to just sort of like hang with that. I don't know, but there's some great songs in part 2. I think my favorite songs are in part 1, but there are still some great songs coming in part 2. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were just such a treat to watch. Johnny Bailey has a lot to do in part 2 that's really fun. And I think just sharing it, like, the monoculture is important. The monoculture matters. This is what we talked about on like We're Obsessed when we were talking about The Summer I Turned Pretty. It almost didn't matter how dumb I thought The Summer I Turned Pretty was. It mattered that like everyone was watching the same thing and all the memes were so good. And, so would I rather we get that mutually obsessed with something fantastic? Yes. But is there a power in the community of we're all watching the same thing and talking about the same thing? Yes. Mallory and I talked about that before. It matters a lot. Yeah. And so I'm excited for that more than even the movie itself. And then I'll be curious to see, Wicked had this great populist moment, and then in award season, there was all this conversation about like,
but does it look good and all these other
Yes.
things like that. So I'll be curious to see if there's any sort of like tweaking in like color grading or visual effects or whatever to
Yeah.
respond to that, or if John Chu is going to be like, fuck you, I enjoyed my Golden Globe win, I'm going to do my thing again. I'm really curious about that too. So Wicked for Good, November 21st. I am like, I'm excited to see it and talk about it with everyone and hear how people respond to a darker chapter inside of a story that was already like, you know, had some heaviness to it.
For
So,
sure.
Yeah.
Some intense themes from the jump. Yeah, I'm similarly really excited for this. I mean, this you know, Glicked, it didn't take off quite the way we hoped it would, mostly because that was really Gladiator 2's fault. You know, Wicked did its part. Wicked pulled its weight.
Wicked really did. It soared. And Gladiator left in the dust of the arena. Man, Gladiator 2. What a time.
I can't believe it's been a year, almost a year already since those movies. That feels like yesterday. It's wild. You know, I enjoyed part one way more than I was anticipating, as we talked about when we covered the movie in real time on the pod. I had seen the show in London during my semester abroad, but like 100 years ago, because I'm ancient, so I barely remembered anything. I went in with fresh eyes, even though I had seen the show. And yeah, despite the fact that a small child behind me, not really that small, a tween, I'd say, threw food at my head, as chronicled on our House of R episode at the time.
That's right.
I also still, despite that, had a great time at the movies and was similarly swept up in the euphoria and the joy. And it was so cool to see like everybody singing along and dressing up and getting hyped. And, you know, you're lining up for concessions at the theater and there are kids in line in their costumes and they just can't wait. It's the best thing that has happened to them in weeks that they get to go see Wicked. So that's just a fun, cool thing when it happens. I really agree. And I'm looking forward to this. I'm curious to see on the songs beat, because like, as you noted, a couple of the, you know, the most cherished and adored numbers have already come to us in the first film. And there's some new songs entirely coming, right, that nobody knows. So that's interesting. Will they be bangers?
What do you have, Steven Schwartz? What do you got up your sleeve?
We'll find out. So that's you know, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, on the visual style front, I was wondering about that as well. And I will say, you know, you don't know when you see a trailer because trailers often look as you're, you know, stray about Avatar looking like a screensaver alluded to. Sometimes trailers, you're like, does this look good? And then you see it on the big screen and you're like, oh, holy fuck, my mind is blown. So trailers aren't always a perfect indication of what awaits, but I was like, okay, this is the candy-coated universe that we, you know, the saturation and the contrast, we're here again. So, yeah.
They shot it all at the same time, so it's not like they were going to like dramatically change how it looked, but like you could do stuff in color grading, and it seems like John Chu's like, fuck you, I made a gajillion dollars. I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. November is loaded. A lot of movies coming in November. We have a television show or two coming in November that we'll talk about shortly. So it's going to be an active holiday season for us. That's fun. So that was your number 7. That was my number 6. So we're on your number 6. What is your number 6?
It's wild to have this as high as I do, and I'll tell you why in a second. But it's Fallout Season 2.
This is my number 5. The trend continues.
Okay.
I have some one ahead of you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can wait. What's your number 5? I mean, your number 6.
Was Wicked. So yeah, let's hit Fallout.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah. Tell
Fallout
us.
Season 2 is bananas that I have this year because, as I've mentioned several times, I still have not watched Fallout Season 1.
Yeah.
But I know it's good. Everyone whose taste I trust says it's good. So I know I'm going to like it. Why haven't you watched it yet, Joanna? I don't know. I watch a lot of stuff for work, so I haven't gotten to it, but I am really excited to. I'm excited to experience Season 1, what everyone was talking about. And then get to dive into Season 2 with everyone at the same time, and like a show that people were genuinely thrilled about. Again, that matters. Being in the Nolan world, something that we've been spending a lot of time with, but being with Jonah and Lisa Joy over in the Fallout side of things, being with our guy Goggins, being with Ella Purnell, like it's always Yellow Jacket season in our hearts.
Always.
So I'm just excited to like understand what everyone's been talking about. I was like, when I was ranking it, I was like, is it absolutely bananas to put Fallout Season 2 so high, given that I haven't watched the first season? But the hype is actually even higher for me because of that, because I'm like hyped for both my experience of Season 1 and getting to experience Season 2 with everyone else. So this is a December 17th over the new year into January experience, a week to week drop.
Yes.
We love to see it. And I'm feel certain we'll be covering it. And I'm excited to share that with you. So that's why Fallout Season 2 is
thrill to me. It's a shock and a thrill. I didn't think this was going to be on your list. This is wild. Wow.
I like it's a real puzzle to everyone, including myself, why I haven't watched it yet. And the anticipation just grows. It just gets more delicious, you know?
Listen, we've talked about the ghoul, the Goggins ghoul, many times, despite not having actually gone beat by beat through the show together. Something wonderful is waiting for you when you encounter this Goggins performance. It's just incredible. On the Ella Purnell front, yeah, like you said, is Snacky ever off our minds for long? No. But is Snacky very top of mind in the Fallout universe? Yeah. You know, pieces of people's bodies are just falling off all the time in Fallout.
An ear? A tasty looking ear? A nice cool...
If it were me.
Cool blue ear.
If it were me. I can't properly describe what the bulk of the trailer for Season 2 is set around Justin Theroux's character, and I can't describe what it felt like to watch him do like an evil spin in a chair with the thin mustache. It's just like absolutely sensational. Really, really great. Aaron Monton, who plays Maximus, he was like the breakout star of Season 1 to me.
Nice.
I think he was just like really, really excellent. And listen, not that you need more enticement. One of the great performances by a dog in recent television history.
It's not as powerful for me as it is for you, but I'm excited to see it.
CX404 renamed dog meat at a certain point in the story, which is upsetting. But it's just a great dog. A great dog. It's very stressful to see a dog in Fallout, but there's a great dog in Fallout. This show is disgustingly violent in ways that even if you're prepared for, you're not prepared for. You just can't believe. I've mentioned before, like, and we've talked about this. I actually had a hard time getting into the first 2 episodes of Season 1. It took me a couple episodes, but then after that, I really enjoyed it from there. And I was very high on Season 1 overall. And Season 2 adapts New Vegas, the New Vegas game. I have not played that. I can't claim to know what that means, but what I can tell you is that our video game loving pals seem incredibly hyped about that, about the New Vegas. But also that's exciting too. So yeah, that's your number 6. My number 5, Fallout Season 2, December 17th, Prime Video. Great. So what is your number 5?
This is where we get to talk about Alex E. Harrow. I actually have 2 books here.
Okay.
So this is my double book smuggle.
Wait,
so,
I have to open my text message. I never look at my phone during pods. I have to call up a text message from Zach Cram. He texted me a prediction. I want to see if he predicted your second pick. Go ahead. I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready.
It's The Strength of the Few.
He's correct.
By James. Yeah. Because he read The Will of the Many, which is the previous book. He read it because I previously hyped it. He loved it. I was actually going to bring up Cram when talking about The Strength of the Few. But let's talk about The Everlasting. Let's talk about Alex Harrow. I'm gonna send this over to you. I'm just gonna say the Once a Future Witches, Starling House, which I really, really loved. And the 10,000 Doors of January, we love Alex Harrow books. She doesn't miss for us. And then it's she was like, hey, Mallory and Joanna,
I know.
I heard you like my writing.
I know.
How are you interested in a premise that's just for you? Mallory, would you
this
care to
is
share
nuts.
Why? When I said this, do you remember when I said this to you? And I was like, are you kidding me? This is months ago. I was like, are you kidding me? October 28th, what can we expect from The Everlasting?
We don't typically read official blurbs, but in this case, I think it's required. I'll read the official blurb and then do a little summation here. genre-defying quest about the lady knight whose legend built the nation and the cowardly historian sent back through time to make sure she plays her part, even if it breaks his heart. So there is a Brienne of Tarth-esque knight. There is a sad sack scholar. There's time travel.
I love a
There's
sad
sack scholar. Time travel. Romance, assessing the role that legend and myth play in our lives, and icing on the fucking cake, cherry on the sundae. There's a character named Owen Mallory. I have no notes.
10 out of 10.
We love Alex Harrow. Just, I mean, the world building, the genre specificity of her tales, but her, as we've talked about many times, her prose is stunning.
Her language is
just gorgeous. She is a beautiful writer. So I'm incredibly excited for this to come out in October.
I rarely do this in such like close succession, but I was re-listened to Starling House. And that's a gothic haunted house romance sort of thing. But her romance, it's usually quite secondary to the plot. It's good, but it's not like, I would not call her a romantasy writer by any stretch of the imagination. Right. That there are like elements of it, but like her systems of magic and her world building are always sort of primary inside of her stories. And so I just thought I love a spooky haunted house tale, and I thought Starling House was extremely good. And also Catabasis did something similar, sort of like her willingness to present women who are victims and villains, or, you know, sometimes like right next to each other at the same time, or, you know, heroic but unlikable for this, that, the other reason. Like all of that is in the mix. And so she's unafraid of complicating your feelings about her characters. And I just really admire that about her as well. So Everlasting is like, might as well be dedicated to us, honestly.
Know,
like it's just so us. It's bananas.
I forgot that this was so soon. Like,
I know.
As you noted, we've been tracking, you know, the cover reveals on Instagram and following closely, like looking at book tour dates. You know, there's actually I think there's one here that I was considering going, and I have family in town. I asked Adam, can you like entertain my mom and stepdad for like an hour? I might have to go to this, but I got such a jolt of like electric joy last night getting my list set when I remembered that this was coming out in a month. Yeah. I can't wait to read this and to talk about it together. I'm absolutely thrilled. Okay, tell me about your second literary inclusion here.
So James Islington, this is the second book in a series that started with Will of the Many, and this is The Strength of the Few. The Will of the Many is one of the best books I've read in Foreversville. It is so good. The system of magic. So again, we don't usually read official blurbs, but I'm going to read the blurb of The Will of the Many, because to describe the strength of the few without establishing what the Will of the Many is impossible. So The Will of the Many, here's the description. The book takes place in Caton, a fictional society with similarities to the Golden Age of the Roman Republic. In this realm, the lower classes must cede a portion of their mental and physical energy, known as the will, to the classes above them. The story follows the orphan Viz as he is recruited into the prestigious Catenan Academy. You love an academy, Mallory.
I do. I do.
And tasked with rising through the cutthroat competition to uncover the secret behind a mysterious accident. He has his own shadow pass. Okay, so the world building, the system of magic, once again, 10 out of 10. The Will of the Many, so good. The Strength of the Few is taking it into like, this was like, the first book is comfortably anchored in a way where if you're not like super into sci-fi fantasy, you can sort of slide into this world and comfortably play in it. The second book, The Strength of the Few, is taking us into like other worlds in a way that I think will be disorienting, of course, if you haven't read the first book. So really, this is like a sneaky, if you haven't read The Will of the Many yet, you have to read that. And then on November 11th, read The Strength of the Few. I have never received a higher compliment in my life than when Zach Cram, who a person we both agree has excellent taste in sci-fi fantasy, was like, I read this book on your recommendation. It was absolutely fucking killer. I was just like, I did it, man. I have arrived. I got the Cram. Thank you for your recommendation seal of approval. So
it's big.
That is my other book reco here at number 5. So The Everlasting, October 28th, and The Strength of the Few, November 11th. But while you're waiting, read The Will of the Many, which is already out.
Dude,
so I
need to catch up on this because your word is gospel. It's all I need. You and Cram. I don't know what's taking me so long here. I have a couple international flights coming up. Might be time.
I won't hold my. I don't like to press you on you are constantly being asked to read things.
I'm already for my international flights. I'm like, time to reread Percy. Time to reread Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But
Mary Shelley's waiting for you. Yeah.
Always. That is a strong recommendation though. I want to catch up. That sounds fantastic. Genuinely, that sounds like something I would love. I need to read that. I want to read that.
Very good.
Ooh, okay. That's an exciting little literary corner there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Everlasting, I'm like, this has been a great year. Honestly, I really loved Catabasis. And the V. Schwab that came out earlier. Like, it's been a good year, So, yeah.
Great stuff.
Bones. Midnight Soil. Read it if you haven't. Okay.
That was your 5.
That was my 5.
Everlasting was my 9. Which means we are on, because my 5 was Fallout, we are on number 4. So this is where I have Frankenstein. What do you have at number 4?
I have something I suspect you have higher, which is, but I'm really excited. This top 5 is all gold.
Loaded.
But this is where I have Percy, which I suspect you have higher. So,
I do. So you want to talk about Frankenstein?
Let's do it. You go.
Okay, this is I don't think people come to the hype meter for dates. They go to Google for that. However, we will just note.
Complicated.
This one's a little messy.
It is.
You're like, wait, didn't this already come out? I was reading it last time. There are kind of 3 markers here. So, but it's exciting, right? So this is already premiered on the festival circuit. This was fairly well received at Venice-ish. Not like 100% approval rating, but like... was not panned. It was
right.
October 17th. You can see this movie in the theaters. Then November 7th. So this is part of the crowded but very exciting November movie slate on the genre front. You can watch this movie on Netflix. Guillermo del Toro is making a Frankenstein movie, and Oscar Isaac plays Victor Frankenstein, and Jacob Elordi is Frankenstein's monster. I already have no notes. The tagline is only monsters play God. I already have no notes. And then, while we're at it, on the I have no notes front, we're in Frankenstein's season. The trailer for, this is really a smuggle for just another movie and another fucking season of hype. But the trailer for The Bride came out.
Like my number 1.
It was amazing.
Before we had a release date for that, I told Sean Fennessy like last year.
Yeah, pencil me in.
Like, if I'm not on the big pick for this movie, we're not friends anymore. That is a movie I am so excited for. And I would have had this higher before some of the festival reactions I saw, which were like much more muted than I was hoping for. However, like, I am going to reread. We're really excited for this because we love a literary adaptation. So an excuse to read the book, an excuse to maybe rewatch the Benedict Cumberbatch, Johnny Lee Miller National Theater production that they did a million years ago where they swapped roles. That one was amazing. An excuse to go back and watch the James Whale, like just like really marinate in the, maybe watch the films about Mary Shelley, like just really marinate in this world and this story. This is not a mythology you and I have spent a ton of time with, though of course it touches a lot of other things that we've talked about, but like Frankenstein, modern Prometheus, like all of that sort of stuff. I remember I read this first in high school, and then I read it again in college because I read it in basically a literary adaptation class I took in college, which is my favorite class that I've ever taken.
I bet.
And so we like read Frankenstein and then watched the Kenneth Branagh version of Frankenstein, and basically just talking about, the choices that were made and the best. And so just maybe watch Gods a Month, like maybe just like do a whole like Frankenstein immersion for spooky season and get to talk about this movie. Oscar Isaac. The takeaway from the people who have seen it is that Jacob Elordi is incredible in this. And I have yet to like fully get on board the Jakey Belordi bandwagon. Like I see it, but I don't feel it. So I might feel it after this. So I'm interested to see that, and then maybe I'll get excited about Wuthering Heights. I won't.
I mean, that's boy, yeah,
that's a lot to ask of me. But then Oscar Isaac, of course, is always a true delight for us. Charles Dance is here.
Charles Dance,
Christoph Waltz
Mickelson,
is here.
Christoph Waltz, Ralph Ineson. This cast is nuts. Mia Goth, like incredible cast. We love Del Toro. Like to see his spin on this fabled IP is a fun thing. I'm always just also interested, like when multiple, even though The Bride is obviously a different story, like when multiple people are making movies about the same figures or in the same universe at the same-ish time. It's like, this isn't exactly like multiple Capote movies at once, but it's, you know, it's always interesting when something like that happens. So it's kind of, I think that also, I think we both are even more excited for The Bride than for this, but excited for both. And it's always nice to have that extra jolt of just like, okay, let me familiarize myself with all of those aspects, or immerse yourself again if you had, you know, read the stories back in the day and seen all the prior adaptations and stuff. It's like a fun excuse to rediscover, or if you've never, you know, if you've never really dabbled in the Frankenstein verse, like, why not now? This can be the time. So that's always fun. I'm looking forward to that one. I hope this is a good movie. We'll see. Yeah.
I mean, here's what I think. Even middling Del Toro is like, it's similar to Edgar Wright. Even middling Edgar Wright or middling Del Toro is going to be an enjoyable experience. You know what I mean? Because like visually, it's going to be compelling at the very least. So, yeah.
Agreed. Okay, so that was my number 4. Your number 4 was Percy, which I have higher. That takes us to our respective number 3s. What do you have at number 3?
So on a previous hype meter, I had felt like awkward about including something where I was like, does this really count? Should I do this? Is this too pretentious? But that paid off for me in spades. So here I am back with the Yorgos Lanthimos Emma Stone bandwagon to talk about Bugonia. Is this on your list anywhere?
It's not. I was wondering if you were going to have this on. I wasn't sure if this felt eligible, not because it's Artie and Yorgos, but because it's like
they might be aliens.
They think they're aliens. Yeah,
we're not like sure.
Yeah,
you know,
I wasn't
and people
sure
are being mum about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair.
I support the inclusion. Why not?
But we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, great.
I'm really excited. This is getting rave reviews out of the festival circuit. Jesse Plemons, especially, who we love.
Yes,
we're huge Landry fans here on House of R. So I'm excited for Jesse Plemons to like get his. It seems weird to say due because he's like one of the like people really love casting Jesse Plemons and things, and like, you know, he's married to Kirsten Dunst and he's doing very well, but like I still feel like he hasn't like ascended the way that he deserves to. So perhaps, you know, this is the time to do it. And Emma Stone has just been like every choice she's made in the last 5 to 10 years has been extremely interesting and intriguing and compelling. And so this idea of, I think this goes into sort of the why now so much Frankenstein. I think that is connected to a lot of questions we're having about AI and stuff like that. You know, sort of like people so irresponsibly obsessed with the idea of innovation without sort of understanding what they might be unleashing onto the world. And then similarly, Bugonia, which is about, 2 conspiracy obsessed young men kidnap a female CEO because they believe she's an alien intent on destroying the earth. So
yes.
Are there aliens? That's a question. But this idea of paranoia or corporate irresponsibility or all these other things is always top of mind right now. And I think that, you know, Yorgos Lanthimos, again, is always worth tuning in for. So I'm really, really excited for Bugonia.
Me too.
I don't know if we're going to talk about it House of R, but it might depend whether or not they're actually aliens. I haven't asked anyone for sure because I don't want to
you
know.
gotta go in pure.
And it's possible this story is you don't know at the end of the story, but like everything I've read has been really responsible about sort of guarding that question. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. And so I'm putting
Include
it here.
until you
and
definitively can't. Yeah, I love
maybe
this.
we'll boot it later. So that's my number 3.
Fantastic pick. I co-sign all of it. Love his films. Plemons Hive always. I mean, the fact that Jesse Plemons is going to be a Best Actor favorite. What a time to be alive. This is amazing. He deserves it. He's the best. This is great.
So excited.
My number 3, I believe you will have this as your 2 or your 1, I think.
Okay.
Pluribus.
Higher.
Yeah. Okay. I knew we would both have this very high. I figured this was going to be okay. So that takes us to number 2, which is where I have Percy. So we can talk about Percy now. What do you have at number 2?
Okay.
You have Stranger Things at number 2.
I have Stranger Things at number 2.
And I have that at number 1, and you have Pluribus at number 1, and I have it at 3.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we can talk about all of these things now.
I think we should do Percy and then Pluribus and then Stranger Things.
That feels right. That feels right. And then if anyone's like, guys, I can't follow where you have what, this is insane, we'll run through it all at the very end.
Also, it doesn't much matter.
No,
I mean, the top 3 is very equally hyped. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Percy, which you have at 4 and I have at 2. This is season 2 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This comes December, once again in December into January. Show December 10th, Disney Plus. This season is adapting book 2, The Sea of Monsters, which I will say, not to dampen the hype, just in the interest of candor, is my least favorite of the 5 books, but is still a blast ultimately, and certainly a book that is worthy of a stronger adaptation than the prior film. So I am very much looking forward to seeing this story adapted anew.
Set the bar in Hades for that one,
Indeed,
Mallory, but...
indeed. The quest to find the Golden Fleece, rescue Grover. It's a fun premise for a season. Joanna, you love an ocean vista. There's as the name Sea of Monsters might indicate, there's a lot of seabound ventures ahead of us here.
Yeah,
we attended the Percy Jackson Hall H panel together at Comic-Con. That panel had the honor of being my first Hall H panel ever, and I got to share that with you. So that was fun. We got to see the footage, glimpse the footage for the first time together, and in a room full of screaming fans. Got to see the first glimpse of my darling Tyson, one of my favorite characters. How will that CGI Cyclops eye look over the course of a full season on television? I don't know, and I'm not prepared to say I'm confident. However, I will say, however it looks, Tyson is an incredible character who is very dear to me, and I'm excited for him to enter the story.
And that kid was great on the panel. Just like phenomenal.
So charming.
Just so excited to be there and excited to be part of the story. I was thrilled with his panel performance.
Yeah, he's such a fan. That was really lovely. And season 2, bigger role for an even bigger role for Luke, one of our favorites from the books and one of our shared highlights of season 1. Much bigger role coming for Clarice in season 2, so that's exciting. We both really enjoyed season 1. It was so fun to finally have an excuse, as we talked about a lot when we covered season 1. So anybody who's like, what do you guys think of season 1 and the books? You got 8 pods to go catch up on. Enjoy. To finally have an excuse to read the stories, to read the books and fall further into that world. That was just really a great experience. And I'm excited to be back. The kids have grown 5 feet between seasons. It's a familiar thing when you're making a show about teens. Can't wait to be back at Camp Half-Blood, back with our pal Mr. D, etc. I'm just really looking forward to season 2, and I'm really looking forward to season 2. But what I'm most looking forward to is just that the show is back and back in production. They've announced central casting for season 3. They're already getting to work. They're getting cracking on season 3. Season 3 is what I'm most looking forward to. And so just being back in the Percy world is exciting because we're just not that far away from Nico. It's very exciting.
A reason I have it, I have it relatively high. I liked season 1 of Percy Jackson. I really liked talking to you about season 1 of Percy Jackson. So for me, part of this hype experience is getting to spend week after week with you talking about mythology and talking about storytelling and all that sort of stuff like that. So I think that is something I'm very, very much looking forward to.
Yeah. The getting to go to the Greek mythology corner multiple times per pod every week, talk about the myths and the storytelling tradition and how that's being like positioned in a modern context for new readers and viewers to discover. It's like, that's our shit. That's great.
That's true.
Okay, so that was your 4 and my 2. My 3 is Pluribus. This is your
number 1.
Number 1. Tell us why.
Pluribus styled Plur 1 bus, if you're keeping track at home.
Yes.
This is hard to describe for a couple reasons. 1, because the marketing has been so oblique, and 2, because as someone with access to screeners, I was given a very strict do not reveal list.
Mm-hmm.
Very elaborate do not reveal list from Apple. I was excited for this no matter what. This is from Vince Gilligan, who created Breaking Bad and also Better Call Saul, starring Ray Seahorn, who was Kim Wexler on Better Call Saul. And we're once again in Albuquerque, his favorite place to be, and something strange is going on. That's basically all you can tell from like the various teasers that they've released. People are licking donuts, drones are picking up trash. We don't know what's going on. Something weird is going on.
Yeah.
I have subsequent, and then I because I was like, I can't have both Bugonia and Pluribus on here if like I'm not sure that like both of them are like actually genre. And so I texted our pal Alan Sepinwall and I was like, Alan, have you seen Pluribus? And he was like, yeah, it might be my favorite show of the year. It's either that or The Pit. And I was like, fuck yeah. And then I was like, is it genre? And he's like, yeah, it's definitely genre. I was like, okay. And then I couldn't resist and I watched the screener for the first episode. And again, I can't talk about it. But yes, it is genre. And I loved it. And it's just so comforting to be back in the warm embrace of a Vince Gilligan TV world. Vince Gilligan, we should say, got his start on the X-Files, or like worked on the X-Files before he did Breaking Bad. And so even though Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are not in this genre space, he is well-versed in the world of genre television. And so I was completely gripped by I only watched the pilot. I was completely gripped by it. I love Ray Seahorn on Better Call Saul. Kim Wexler is like an all-timer character for me. And so, for her to be the lead of the show is really, really exciting. And I don't know what else I can say, except I'm really, really excited to cover it. This is very clearly, to me, it was interesting to me to see Vince Gilligan hop ship from AMC over to Apple. Like, and he doesn't strike me as the kind of creator who like just the price tag would be enough to entice him over. Though certainly Apple has the deep pockets. And so I was just sort of like, what is it about Apple versus AMC that is like enticing to him? And I have to imagine that Apple is in the market for more Severance. Like Severance is one of their biggest shows. And so they're like, give us more Severance type stuff. And if that is something that AMC is not really playing, they've got Interview with a Vampire, which is a different kind of genre show, but they're not really playing in that Severance world as much. And so if Vince Gilligan wanted to get back to his X-Files roots, and this is the kind of show that Apple was interested in having, like, and, I'm just very, very excited for this. And again, I've only seen the first episode. Alan Sepinwall's word is gold to me. He was like, I loved it. I was like, do you think I will love it? He's like, oh, you'll love it. And I was like, okay, great. So it was like, so hovering around 2 or 3 for me. And then once I watched that episode and talked to Alan, it went up to my number 1. So that is where I am with Pluribus. So yeah. I
can't wait for this. I love Vince Gilligan as a creator. Him getting back to the sci-fi genre space is incredibly exciting. So the official log line on Apple is the most miserable person on earth must save the world from happiness. There you go. I think we're covered on the is a genre front from that one sentence alone. The kind of arty, shrouded in mystery and mystique little mini trailerettes that we've gotten have been like so enticing and fun and cool. I really like the vibe. I like the style, but I also like the aura around them. And that's great. And yeah, we have talked about this on many a pod before, but I think Apple TV Plus is like the place to make a sci-fi show right now, I think. So, the commitment that they have there to not only sci-fi adaptations, Foundation, Dark Matter, Silo, et cetera, on and on the list goes. But original, like you said, For All Mankind, Severance, et cetera. I mean, it's just like there are plenty of shows on Apple that have not been very good, but they are investing in showcasing genre storytelling among many other types of stories, which they're also investing in, obviously. But yeah, it's been a good streamer for people who like sci-fi in recent years. So I think that's very exciting. I really can't wait for the show. Another November release.
November 7th
goodness.
is a very busy day. Yeah, absolutely.
Sheesh, my lord. Okay, so that's your number 1. That was my number 3. That takes us to your number 2 and my number 1, which is Stranger Things Season 5, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. We're going to keep this quick, honestly, because we're talking about Stranger Things a ton on standalone Stranger Things podcast. We are doing an entire rewatch of every season. We're putting out a pod on every season. We've already done we've revisited season 1. We've revisited season 2, 3, and 4. Wait, it has been 3.5 years since season 4, and it has been nearly a decade since season 1. So in addition to just like, hey, cool, we get another Stranger Things season, how fun. The fact that this is the final season, this is the conclusion of a decade-long shared experience, that's monumental, genuinely. And the fact that the runtimes for these 8 episodes are still not released has become one of my favorite running bits to check in on the pod, and simultaneously fills me with terror and euphoria, because like the idea of all of these actually being movies is, it gives me some—
8 episodes.
Yes, 8 episodes. So it's Volume 1 comes out on Thanksgiving and is 4 episodes. Volume 2 comes out on Christmas and is 3 episodes. And then the finale, New Year's Eve, 1 episode. Here are the titles. They haven't released the titles.
We don't know if we're getting screeners.
No, we have no idea.
We don't know. So, we've told all of our families, fuck off for the holidays. We'll be spending time watching 8 feature-length films with our pals from Hawkins.
Listen, in some ways, there's no one I'd rather spend the holidays with than Jim Hopper and you. Screeners will be great. I'm manifesting it. Screeners will be great. So they've not released the runtimes yet, but they have put out the episode names. The Crawl. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2. The Vanishing of... ... Ooh, I love an ellipsis.
A follow-up of the Vanishing of Will Byers.
A lot of these feel like bookend titles to either key parts of the canon or season 1 titles. Chapter 3. The Turnbow Trap. Chapter 4. Sorcerer. That's the one they've been like posting about, right? If memory serves, they're like, this is a doozy. Chapter 5, Shock Jock. Chapter 6, Escape from Kamazots.
Yeah.
Chapter 7, The Bridge. And Chapter 8, and I gotta be honest, I'm an easy mark. This gave me a chill when I read it. The Right Side Up. I got a little tingle in the old spine seeing that. I'm like, well, you know what? If they were going to call the finale anything, it was probably going to be The Right Side Up, and I like that. So it's just been really fun to do the rewatch and to do the pods. We had a great time covering season 4. Kind of can't wait to see how they ended. They keep talking about this, 25-page booklet on the mythology of the Upside Down that they've had since day 1, and they've been waiting to explore it all. Kind of curious to see what we get on that front. How many definitive answers await?
That's so confusing to me because it was originally intended to be an anthology show. This is like when we talk about Christopher Nolan only making 1 Batman movie. I was like, what do you mean? Like when season 1 was supposed to be like a contained season, then they're like, but we've had this book. Anyway, is there a title? So you're most excited for The Right Side Up. Is that the one that like has you most intrigued? Because I will say Escape from Kamazots, which is a Mayan death bat, is really excited to me.
Pretty hyped about all of them.
Eddie Munson coming back? I don't know. Like a death bats, who can say? I'm excited.
The defiled shot of Eddie's. I don't want to say in case anyone hasn't seen season 4 yet. I guess.
Well, I guess I already said coming back.
You did.
But,
yeah, you know what? We said spoilers for, season 4 came out 3.5 years ago. It's fine. Yeah, the defiled shot of his tombstone, like in the trailer with Dustin kneeling there. Yeah. Tugged on the old heartstrings. Really did.
Yeah.
Really did. I can't wait for season 5. Hope it's good.
No matter what, it's going to be like a massive.
Yeah. Like, it's an event.
The fact that when we were thinking about the end of the year being like a little sparse in terms of what's out here. On the one hand, that's completely, contradicted by the list that we've just put together. On the other hand, I do think it's possible some things got out of the way of the end of Stranger Things.
Sure.
Season 4 was such a phenomenon. Yeah. A return to a grip on the monoculture. And so season 5 will be absolutely dominating. And if people are just sort of like, I'm just going to tiptoe over into the beginning of 2026 and get out of the way, I wouldn't blame them. So yeah. It's going to be Hawkins season for several months for us. I mean, it has been. I've just been like rewatching Stranger Things seasons for the last couple months, essentially. So there we go.
Great. Okay, we have a lot to look forward to. This is exciting. What do you have on the honorable mentions front that you want to quickly shout out?
Okay. I've got Zootopia 2.
Yeah, same.
I love Zootopia. I love Zootopia. So I'm excited for Zootopia 2.
Same.
I just want to say this here so that people are like, why isn't this on your list? Talamasca, which you might expect to be on my list because it's a spinoff of Interview with the Vampire. Eric Bogosian will be in the season. Jason Schwartzman is showing up for an episode, et cetera, et cetera. We sat through the Talamasca panel at Comic-Con. Mayfair Witches wasn't really for me. I'm not getting the sense that Talamasca is really for me on the same level as like every single granule of Interview with the Vampire season 3 is for me. So that's why Talamasca is not on it. But I'm prepared to be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It's going to be amazing. 100 Nights of Hero, which is a Thousand One Arabian Nights sort of adaptation that looks bananas in a way that I'm intrigued by. And then I don't know if it counts, but there's a new Knives Out movie. That's not really us, but, Wake Up Dead Man is exciting. So
I considered really stretching the what fits and is eligible, and then that would have been pretty high because that I love that franchise. We love Rian Johnson. I mean, it's just I can't wait for that movie. Couple more.
Yeah.
Wonder Man. I just am assuming this is not actually coming out because it doesn't have a date.
I don't believe it's coming out.
Yeah. They still are saying December TBD. I think if we had a firm date, this would have been in my top 10, but I don't know why I feel like this is moving into next year. Right? Maybe not.
Do you think it'll depend on how well Nate Moore does on Survivor this season?
Maybe. I gotta be honest, I thought he had a great premiere. I was impressed.
He was great. He really led that like final task in a way. He's like, let's get some calories in us. Let's get some nutrition, guys. He's got a great cardigan. I just almost died when spoilers for Survivor season 49, in which former high-ranking Marvel executive Nate Moore is on the show. He's like, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I almost died. It was so funny. And then he was like, I was a PA on Spider-Man 2. But he's not telling them that he was like a big-time Marvel executive, which is very smart because they would vote him out early because, he's successful or he has so much money he doesn't need it. There's like a million reasons for him to not tell them who he is. But it's just killing me that like one of the guys on his tribe is like, oh my God, you were a PA on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I was like, this guy did.
I know, but it's hysterical because in all of his like direct to camera, confessionals, he's like incorporating his MCU experience into how he's assessing tribe dynamics. So you can't have two Captain Americas.
Yeah. You need a Steve and you need a Tony. My favorite This Is Nate Moore moment was another, and then we can be done talking about Survivor, but another character we really like this season already is this guy Rizzo, who's calling himself the Riz God, right? He's like an immediate
instant icon. Yeah.
And the thing that Nate Moore said about him when he was talking about him to another cast member was he was like, I really like him. I really think he has something like more than he even thinks he does. And I was like, this is like,
I know.
This is like him casting him as like Peter Parker or something. You know what I mean? Like he is like cast him in his mind as like, the plucky kid or something like that. I just really loved that moment. Anyway, Survivor, what a show. I'm in a Survivor fantasy league this season. I'm really Leveled
Incredible.
up my moment.
Riz God, one of the already just through one episode, like all time, not vibing with it from the commercials and was in tears by midway through one episode watching it.
I know. I was like, forget this guy.
Oh my God.
But I had that reaction last season to like someone early on. I was like, ugh, and then I wound up loving them. So I was like, give it time, Joanna. And then they gave him a whole like major
beautiful
narrative in the first episode. Really good. Very good.
Wonderful stuff. So Wonder Man, we don't think it's necessary. This is another Marvel spotlight. We don't think it's necessarily coming out this year. If it does, I will be anticipating it. Abdul Mateen is just an incredible performer, so it's really exciting to see him as Simon Williams. It's exciting for Simon Williams to be coming to our television screens. That's fun. Always interesting to see what they'll do with Ben Kingsley when Trevor Slattery returns. I mean, Ed Harris is here, so is it coming out this year? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to that. I don't think that I have the constitution to actually handle this next thing. I think it is too scary, even as I have immersed myself in more horror recently and found it palatable. I don't think I can actually handle it. Welcome to Derry. It looks so scary, but that certainly is eligible for inclusion here today as a genre tale. And yeah, I'm glad you
mentioned it. So people are like, excuse me, how dare you disrespect? I will say, love and respect to HBO.
Yeah.
After, I'm going to call it the debacle that was the Dune show that they did last year, my expectations for we had a successful movie, we're turning it into a TV show are low for HBO right now. So prove me wrong, guys. Go ahead.
Dune, Prophecy. That was last year, huh?
Tough sit.
That feels like a long time ago. What else? I am not a consumer of this property, but we should certainly mention season 4 of The Witcher. Of course, the Liam Hemsworth debut. That's notable in the genre-verse.
Yeah.
Let's see. And, we have alluded to it already a couple times today, but Tron Ares does come out in October. That comes out in just a couple weeks here, October 10th. That is something that my husband is very much looking forward to. He is a giant Tron fan. What else? There's a new SpongeBob movie. The fantasy football show guys are going to be pretty hyped about that. They love SpongeBob.
Support them. Always.
Okay.
It's great for them.
Those were the honorable mentions. There's a lot of great stuff coming. Anything else? Anything else before we wrap? Anything else that we didn't get to, didn't highlight? I mean, there's always something that emerges that we're like, oh, we didn't know this was coming out. And then we're excited. And then we cover it. And there will be something this fall too. But we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
So.
The everlasting. We're just going to hit that one more time and just say nothing can be more us. Please do pick that up. I want everyone to be talking about it. Yeah, I'm excited. There's some exciting things coming up.
I know.
Absolutely.
And we have all of this new stuff about to release. And entwined with that, we get to keep going on our Buffy rewatch for you, first watch for me. We get to do best of the century pods. I mean, what a time to be us. We're living. We're thriving.
And I almost put
Chris Nolan fall?
Well, Chris Nolan fall. But I almost put another Project Hail Mary trailer ? On my hype list. I
considered that too.
As my wild card.
Yeah, I considered that too, because that will obviously be an event.
A Dunk and Egg trailer and a Project Hail Mary trailer. Yeah.
We have some very meaningful to us and our Bad Baby Hive trailers coming in the next couple weeks, couple months this season for sure. I don't know how I'll survive the slow drip of glimpses of Rocky between now and the release of Project Hail Mary in cinemas near you next spring. I just don't know how I'm gonna handle it. I was gripping your arm for the entire Hall H panel. Every little glimpse, just seeing his tunnel, the tunnel to the ship, made me cry. How will
Mallory
I survive this?
Clutching onto me like the most beautiful barnacle that ever existed. A little weepy. And then the other side of her was Van, who went in skeptical and came out a believer.
Yes.
Project Hail Mary. We're very excited for you.
Can't fucking
Next
wait.
hype meter. You will be a star.
Yeah. Dude, the hype draft in January is going to be... It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts.
Competitive.
Yes. I can't wait. All right. We have a lot to look forward to. Can't wait to talk about it all together here in the House of R. Thank you to the Bad Babies for joining us in the hype as always. And thank you to our crew today, the hype crew today, Mike Wargon.
Mike!
Here with us. Carlos is traveling back from Ireland.
What a stud, honestly. He's going to be turning right back around and getting back to work. What a machine Carlos is.
So thank you to Mike for helping out today. Thank you as always to John Richter, Arjuna Ramgopowell, and Jomi Adeniran. We will see everybody in just a couple days for Stranger Things Season 3 Revisited.
Bye.